Hello all, welcome back to one more video session. Here I am going to explain the next phylum important for your competitive examination. That means you have to be thorough with the points given in your NCERT, that is from Coelenterata. At the same time you have to note down the points I am going to tell here, that is not given in your NCERT. Okay, first important point I am going to write is the larval name of some coelenterates. Okay, so the first larva is, I am going to write planula. It is the name of the coelenterate called as Obelia. Obelia, easy right? Planula is the larva of Obelia, number one. The second larval name is, that is another type of larva of this particular coelenterate, that is Aurelia. That is Ephyra. Do you remember the larval name of poriferans? Yes, right? Parenchyma, amphiblasta or blastula actually. Okay. So here planula is Obelia, Ephyra, Aurelia. Note this point, important. And another important thing I would want to write here is, just write here. The first important point is the hydra. Very important question. Hydra is the only freshwater coelenterate. Hydra is freshwater coelenterate. So we write here freshwater coelenterate. Note this point, important. The second one is, which particular coelenterate is called as brine coral? Brine coral is Meandria. Meandria. It is brine coral. Okay. Now, in coelentrates, which particular organism has got very rough and very sharp body, in the sense like they looks like bearing some spikes in its body, that is made up of endoskeleton, made up of calcium carbonate endoskeleton. That is all the corals, they are very sharp because they have got horny endoskeleton. Got it? Made up of calcium carbonate. So we write it calcium carbonate. Okay, so this is very important. Done. So 5 points we have to add now. Very important, could be asked. There is a high chance of asking any one from these 5 points. Okay, from coelentrates. Then other than that, some scientist name will write here. The name of the scientist. A scientist called as Leucard. Even actually, let me just write C here. Leucard. He called these particular organisms as coelentrates. Okay, he gave the name coelenterate. Coelenterate. Leucard, coelenterata. Okay. Next one, because we know that coelenterata can also be called as cnidarians. Yes. Who gave the name cnidarians? That is Hatschek. Hatschek gave the name to coelenterata as cnidaria or cnidarians. Why cnidarians? Because coelentrates exhibit tentacles. You remember jellyfish, they have tentacles. If you touch the tentacles, obviously you may be paralyzed because they have stinging cells. What is the name of the stinging cell? Nematocyst, or it is also called as nidoblast. We write it nidoblast, nidoblast actually. You can pronounce it as nidoblast. Okay, I pronounce sometimes like nidoblast or nidoblast. Or it is also called as nematocyst. Very important. Do you remember the diagram of this nematocyst that was dealt in our regular class? Very important. Okay, could be asked. Nidoblast. Okay, so for example, if you want, I just go with this diagram. Like this. This is the diagram of the nematocyst or nidoblast. Got it? Okay, so that is present inside the tentacle. Easy? Easy, right? Okay. So we go to the next point. We again write the fourth. That is metagenesis. What is metagenesis? It is the alternation of the generation that is seen only in coelentrates, jellyfishes or corals. Metagenesis. What is this metagenesis now? That means it exhibits two different forms of body forms in its life cycle. One is the sessile, sedentary polyp. The other one is free living, swimming. That is medusa. Correct? Polyp, medusa. We write here polyp to medusa. Again, Medusa to polyp. This is called as metagenesis, seen only in coelentrates. Note this point, very important, you know about it. But for Neet, you may get a question like name the what is the shape of the polyp? Okay, all the organism which is exhibiting polyp normally cylindrical shape. Cylindrical. Shape is cylindrical. Okay, polyp is always cylindrical. Whereas Medusa is, if you imagine jellyfish, what is the shape of jellyfish? Does it look like an umbrella? Like this, yes, right? So Medusa is always umbrella shape. That's shape is umbrella. Got it? So one more point: polyp always reproduces or produces Medusa asexually. It could be fragmentation or fission, like breakage. Okay, Medusa always produces polyp sexually. Easy. So this is the important point you need to remember. Done. So these are very important points. Other than that, let me just tell you the body layers. We know that they are diploblastic organisms. We know that. That means ectoderm, that is the outer layer, and endoderm. Between ecto and endoderm, what is there? Mesoglia is there. That is undifferentiated cells. They do not have mesoderm like us. They have only mesoglia. Okay. Now we see what are the different types of cells you see in epidermis, or what are the different types of cells you see in endoderm. The endoderm in the case of Coelenterata can also be called as gastrodermis. What is the meaning of gastro? Stomach. Elementary canal. Gastro. Gastric. Remember the terms gastric? Stomach. So that is gastrodermis in the case of Coelenterates. Okay, we'll come to that. One more point, I may forget this. What is the name of mouth in the case of Coelenterates? Hypostome. Very important. Hypostome is the mouth. What is the symmetry? Radial. But there are some cases, exceptions are there that also exhibit like bilateral symmetry. We will not talk about it, not necessary actually. 99% of the coelentrates exhibit radial symmetry. That is enough. Okay. Digestion, extra, intracellular. Okay. So that is easy actually. And important point is they exhibit this mode of digestion, that is blind sac. The pattern of entire digestive system is blind sac. What is blind sac? Single opening, that is nothing but hypostome, that is the mouth, and a big cavity, that is nothing but serves as the mouth or gastro. So serves as the stomach actually, not mouth. So this is mouth, this is stomach. Done. So blind sac. Got it? So blind sac mode of kind of digestion. Easy? Okay, we'll erase it now. We'll talk about its different body layers, particularly different cells. Okay, we'll erase this. Now we will discuss the different layers present in the Coelenterata organisms. You can just imagine Hydra. Okay, so we just take Hydra. This is the Hydra. Normally Hydra is always polyp stage. Majority of the Hydra, they exhibit polyp stage, that is sessile attached to the substratum. Correct? Okay. So these are the tentacles. Hydra. Okay. Hydra is the freshwater coelenterate. Okay. Here, this layer is the outermost layer of the organism. Correct? Outermost layer. So what do you call this? Epidermis. Okay. What is the other name of epidermis? Ectoderm. So we can write it ectoderm. If you talk about the germ layers, it has got two germ layers. Ectoderm, that is outer, it is also called as epidermis, skin. Okay. And endodermis. Between ecto and endo, what is there? A type of an undifferentiated cells, the mass of cells called as mesoglia. Okay. So just we draw its elementary canal. Not exactly elementary canal, it's nothing but which helps to store the food, and where some cells will be there, they absorb the nutrients from the food and then they release it. Here, let me just write what is the chemical that is released from or during excretion. The excretory material is always ammonia. See, majority of the invertebrate, they excrete ammonia. Human beings, urea. Birds, uric acid. That is the excretory waste. But in this case, it's ammonia. Simple. Okay, simple. Ammonia. Now, talk about respiration. Do they have lungs like us? Do they have gills? Do they have book lungs? Do they have book gills? No, nothing else. They normally simply like through this hypostome they take the oxygen, okay, and oxygen will diffuse into different types of cells. Then it will be removed out. Okay, so respiration is simply by means of diffusion, simple diffusion of the gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide, simple diffusion. Got it? So this is the thing. Now the layers, we talk about its outermost layer, that is actually nothing but the epidermal muscular layer. So this particular epidermis, what you are seeing here, that is the outermost layer, is nothing but epidermis or epidermal muscular layer, that is muscles. Okay, that means it contains muscle cells. Got it? Okay. What is the function of muscle cells? They help in the locomotion, but in the case of Hydra, they are sessile, they will not locomote, but there are some other coelentrates like jellyfishes, they move, right? Locomotion is seen. Okay, whatever it is, obviously, even though it is sessile, but still actually it can bend its body. Okay, like a tree, just imagine a tree. Okay, so that is nothing but movement, but let me just write movement, or in some other cases locomotion like jellyfishes. Okay, muscles. This is the thing. The next one, let me just write here, that is the inner layer. This is the one which actually lines its gastric, that is nothing but stomach, the blind sac. Okay, so this is actually called as the endodermis. Endodermis. In here, let me just modify this and write gastric or gastrodermal layer. Derm is always nothing but skin. Okay, so it is the skin of the gastric. Okay, gastrodermal layer. Is it? Okay, it has got two layers. Outermost is epidermal muscular layer, as the inner layer is nothing but gastrodermal layer. You just need to remember that. Okay, what are the different types of cells you see in the epidermal muscular layer? That is normally in the ectoderm. Here, what are the different types of cells you see? You see majorly three different types of cells. The first one is very important, nematocyst. Nematocysts have the ability to paralyze any prey. They are poisonous things actually. It is also called as nidoblast. Hence the name Nididium, given by hat shake. Okay. Next is, it also got certain sensory cells to sense its environment. It could be predator or prey. Okay, sensory cells will be there in the same layer of the cells. The next one is neural cells will be there. Simple primitive nerves. Got it? Simple primitive nerves. If I draw the diagram of a nerve in human beings, see this. See, like this, right? In human beings, a single nerve cell, that is called as neuron, will be like this. You know, you have already studied about it. These are called as the dendrites. Okay, and here the nucleus will be there, and this is called as axon, yes, and then this is called as synaptic knob, yes. Okay, so it is actually a very well developed nerve cell. But in the case of the nerve cell, in the case of coelentrates, it is not like this. Got it? So it is normally like this. It is primitive, like this. Maybe having only one dendrite. Okay, so that is actually the thing. It is not that developed like higher organisms like birds or human beings or elephants, like that. Got it? So nerve cells will be there. So that helps them to sense what's happening around them. Done? Okay. Brain is there? No. Brain is absent. Only nerve cells will be there. Okay. Whereas here we talk about the endodermis. Again you see nerve cells too. That is nothing but neural cells, nerve cells. Again, that is also there. That is also required. The other one is, as it is served as a alimentary canal. Okay, because it's going to digest the food here, right? So in the case of endodermis, that is gastrodermal layer, glands will be there. Gland cells will be there. What is the type of different types of glands you see in human beings? There are two types of glands. One is exocrine gland and other one is endocrine gland. Exocrine gland normally secretes saliva, or it could be sweat, or it could be enzymes. Yes, enzymes are very important. Why? They help in metabolism. Okay, so they break down certain complex organic material into simpler material. That's it, right? That is kind of like a biocatalyst, we say. You will understand it later. Enzymes. Here, Oh, sorry, I forgot. What about the endocrine gland? Endocrine gland actually releases only hormones. Here you will not see endocrine gland. You see only a type of exocrine gland. Okay, don't write it. A type of exocrine gland, not exactly exocrine gland. Okay, like human beings. So these gland cells secretes only enzymes that is essential for their digestion. Done? Easy, right? So this is it. And some sensory cells will be there. Some sensory cells will be there. That's it. So this is one side and this is the other side. Got it? So it is a clear-cut distinction. It's nothing but differentiation between this outer layer and inner layer. Done? Now we will talk about its classification. Normally this particular Coelenterata can be classified into three important classes. Okay. So the first one is hydrozoa. Second one is Cyphozoa. And the last one is Anthozoa. Okay. We write it because it's a bit complex. Too much of dust. Classes. So the classification of the Coelenterata, that's very important. Only you need to remember the examples, that's it. Okay, only examples. The first one, let me write hydrozoa. Hydrozoa. Very a good example is hydra. You just remember this. Hop for hydrozoa, H for hydra, O for Obelia, okay, and P for Physalia. What is the other name of Physalia? Do you remember it? Portuguese men of war. Do you remember it? Very important. Okay, easy. Then second one is, so hydrozoa is freshwater as well as marine water coelenterata because hydra is included in this particular class, hydrozoa. Okay. Whereas next is we just write Cyphozoa. Cyphozoa is the second class of the coelenterata. In this you see only one organism, that is Aurelia. Do you remember the larval name of Aurelia? Do you remember it? Okay. So third one, Anthozoa. Anthozoa is the third class of the coelenterata. Examples here we just write this word gap. Hop, ye, gap. So what is this G? G is nothing but Gorgonia. Gorgonia. What is the other name of Gorgonia? Sea fan. Sea fan. Okay, I forgot. Obelia, sea fur. Hydra, fresh water coelenterata. Physalia, Portuguese men of war. Okay, so Gorgonia is sea fan. Ye is Adamsia. Adamsia also belongs to Anthozoa. What is the other name of Adamsia? Adamsia is nothing but what is sea anemone. You have already studied all this stuff, but still recall. Okay, very important actually for your competitive examination. Next one is sea pen, that is Pennatula. Pennatula is also called as sea pen. Very, very important. All these things note. Hydra, freshwater coelenterata. Obelia, sea fur. Okay, because the structure will be like this, like a fur. Got it? This is, sorry, Obelia is sea fur, whereas Physalia is Portuguese men of war. Okay, very important. Then this one, Gorgonia is sea fan. And even I think I had posted the pictures of all these organisms. Adamsia is sea anemone, very important. Pennatula is sea pen, that's it. Simple. So that's all about from the phylum Coelenterata. You just need to remember all these three classes with examples and its general common English name. Done? Chalo then, thank you.